Today I'm going to be reviewing this replacement Bounce Pro trampoline net enclosure. Now if you have a Bounce Pro trampoline and you have a bunch of kids that are spending time on the trampoline or whatever, you'll know that this enclosure can show signs of wear and tear. What typically has happened with ours in the past is that this top part will eventually sag down enough that our kids will start grabbing on it, and then it'll eventually break either the straps up here at the top or it'll start to rip out or whatever. And sometimes it's just because of age as well, not necessarily anything that your kids do. So this is going to be for a review for the replacement enclosure. So it's actually going to be the same exact mesh enclosure as the original one will be. So it's just going to be that same mesh, lets the air through, you can see through, but it also has a good amount of stretch to it. Now what I really like about these enclosures from Bounce Pro is that they're actually going to be strapped at the top. They come with like buckles and that sort of thing. However, I do wish the buckles would be a little bit nicer rather than just that plastic clip that holds it together. And then at the bottom, they're just going to use a rope that's going to tie it from the enclosure to the little triangles along the edge of the mat. So again, I wish they would design that a little bit differently, make it a little bit easier rather than having to kind of thread the rope through like traditional net enclosures. I wish they would change that, make it a little bit easier. Now this is going to be a full zip up enclosure from Bounce Pro. So it's going to go all the way up to the top. This is going to be the black and green one. So it's going to be green as it comes down here. And then of course it does have buckles if you want to buckle it closed on top of the zipping it closed as well. Now this one is specifically designed for a 14-foot trampoline. So if you have one that's a trampoline that's a 12-foot or even a bigger one than the 14, you want to make sure to get that. This one is specifically for the 14-foot trampoline. So this is going to be the Bounce Pro trampoline net enclosure. Again, probably the best thing about this is going to be those straps up there at the top that kind of wrap around your enclosure pole. If you have a pole but you don't have that cap like that green one, you can also buy those separately to put onto yours if you're replacing like from a different brand or from a different Bounce Pro one that doesn't have that sort of caps on the top, and then that'll allow you to connect those straps around the top on this Bounce Pro enclosure.